Okay, so we are Linux Fundamentals Part 1. Let's see what we do here. We went ahead and let's open up this introduction. Welcome to the world of Linux. Let's get started. Cool. Little background. Everybody got 1991 is the answer. Now, a point here to make is wherever it says research, that means it's probably not going to be in this section. You're going to have to go outside. So it's okay to Google search it, okay? So in this case, it was 1991 is when Linux first started. So the next thing that we had to do was start our virtual machine. This room has a Ubuntu Linux machine that you can interact with all within your browser while following along with this room's material, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it started. We make sure it's still good. We are good. Now, let's say we were going to the end and we were running out of time, then we could easily add just a little bit more time to it. And once it's down below an hour, you'll be able to add more time. So we're there. We've done that. Correct answer. Okay. Running your first few commands. So this is a lot of foundational Linux stuff, okay? And the guys that were learning Linux is based on hacking, okay? If you guys were just here wanting to learn Linux, a lot of these commands we probably wouldn't care about or learn about. We're doing it for a specific reason, because when we get into a machine, we're going to have to know how to get around the files and try to find the different flags or the different loot that we're looking for on that server, okay? So the first one, echo. Echo, when you type echo into the command line, it'll say back whatever you want it to say. I might have to restart that machine because it's been a moment. I'll do it from my computer. Nope. Echo, hello. And whenever I say that, it'll say it back. So we can see there, it says, whenever we have echo. So when we're scripting, that's going to come into play. Why do you think we're going to use this when we start scripting? When we start creating scripts. Who knows what a script is? Let's start there. A script is just like a recipe of commands, okay? So echo, whenever we echo something out of our script, it's going to show up on the screen. So to tell a user either to put, you need information or it's updating them on the status of something, that's when you would use that, okay? So the next one we have here is who am I? So if I type in who am I, what it's going to do is going to tell me who the currently logged in user is. So why is this information important? Specifically for like the hacking side. Let's say we just hacked into a machine. Why is it important to type in who am I? Yeah, so it's going to tell you who the user is, and then you can check and see if they are a super user or what their level of access is, okay? So jumping over to our notes, echo will put it'll write to the terminal or write to the screen. And then what was the other one? Who am I, and what does that do? Who is the current user? Awesome. A little bit of lag there, but that's okay. Okay, so we can see here, there's our examples. Boom. If we wanted to output the text TryHackMe, what would that command be? Who knows? What would we type in? Let's try it out. So we'll type in echo and then try caps matter. And let's submit. Good job. Cool. What is the username of who you are logged in as on your deployed Linux machine? Who is it? TryHackMe, exactly. We'll submit that. Bada bing, bada boom. Interacting with the file system. Okay, so this is where the rubber hit the road for a lot of you guys. You're like, cool, I'm doing good. This stuff's so easy. And then I got to this one and I was like, whoa, not so easy. But that's okay. These are the fundamental commands that you will use every moment of every day when you are using a Linux machine. So if I were you, I would write all of these, all of those commands in your notes. Okay, so you have to have a really good understanding of what ls is. ls is a list of the files. Okay, so if we type ls just in any directory, it's going to show you what is inside. It is a listing of the file contents. So if we're over here, we'll type in ls, and it's just going to show me everything that's in there. Let's say I just wanted to see what was in folder 4. Then it's going to tell me just what's in folder 4, okay? You don't have to necessarily change directories into a folder to do a listing of what's inside, okay? And here's another little piece of goodness, that as you use ls more, you're going to find that these commands have different options that you can run. So the structure of a command is this. You first tell it what you want to do. So we want you to list, okay? Now, in this case, if I just hit enter, it's going to assume that I'm going to list out, I want everything listed here, okay? But if I were to use the cat command and hit enter, it doesn't have anything to cat. So it's just going to sit there and wait, and you're going to be like, what the hell? Like, it's not doing anything. So the structure is the command that you want it to run, any options or arguments that you have, or options and then arguments. So in this case, it's ls, we want a listing, and then let's give it some arguments, or some options. I don't remember the difference between the two, to be honest. ls-lah, okay? So that's just something that you can try. I use it all the time. ls-lah, and we'll just type in folder 4. So now when I do that, what do you notice that's different about this? About the results, or about the different things that got spit out there? Looks different, right? A lot more information on the screen. So we see here, everything is in an actual list now. It's not, you know, this whole side by side by side. It's actually listed vertically, okay? And then also, I put the A in there because I want to see everything. So if there's any hidden files or anything, they would show up. And then H is, well, that might be the hidden file. But we're getting all of our directory information, so we can see read, write, execute. We could see all that information here, which you'll learn about in the future. And we could see about like who last accessed these, when they were all accessed, all that. So just because we're scratching the surface with these commands, just note that there are a ton of other options or things that you could do to make it more powerful. So the first one we'll put in there is ls, and that is a list of contents, okay? Now, it's worth noting that that is for directories, okay? So what we have is we have folders, and then inside folders, we have different files. Okay, that's how file systems work. So these could be .text. These could be log files. These could be images, like JPEGs. Okay, so they're all inside of there. So we ls directories if we want to see the contents. But what we do is we cat text documents. Okay. And I say text documents, that's also like log files. You might be able to cat a photo, but it's just going to be a bunch of gobbledygook. I mean, it'll probably cancel, or it'll probably error out on you. But cat is like an interpreter. It's like it'll go and try to read anything that you throw at it, okay? So we want to make sure that we have cat on our commands as well. So we'll write cat, and that is going to show our... they're saying concatenate. It's short for concatenate, but it's going to show the contents of a text file. Log files, anything that's text-based. And that's something that you learn about once you're in the Linux world, that just because it doesn't have .text doesn't mean it's not a text file. Like it could be .llama, and it's still a text file. It's just how they have created their logs or whatever, you know, document they're spitting out. Okay, next thing is our CD, and that is our change directory, okay? So that's how we move around the operating system. So if I want to change directories into, say, folder 4, then I would just type in CD and then folder 4. Okay, and our last one is pwd. Some people think it's the password command. It is not. It is to print our working directory. Why do you think it would be important for us to know that command? We want to print the working directory. Yeah. Exactly. So think of it like you're on a trip and you're driving. If you don't know where you are, how do you know where you're going to go? How do you know what direction to go, right? So if you type pwd, you're going to know where you're at in the file system. And then you can change directories to make that next turn. So if you need to go into a folder, or maybe you need to back up, then you can do that. Okay? So with pwd, that is the print, the working directory. So from a hacking stance, why is that important for us to know? We just hacked into a machine, we got access, and we're sitting in a terminal. Why is it important to know what this is? Yeah.
Because you don't know where you're going to be in the system.
Exactly. When you log into that session, wherever that person was, you don't know where you're at. So you can't change directories. You're not going to know. You're not going to have a sense of where you're at. So you type in pwd, and it's going to tell you exactly where you're at. Okay. So listing our files, it tells us all what's in there. I'm sure you guys all read that, all this great content. It's exactly writing exactly what we had to do. Look at that. We know our current path. Okay. So on the Linux machine that you deploy, how many folders are there? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, right? So there are 4 folders. Is that correct? It is. Which directory contains a file? Tell us. Okay, how did you figure that out? Use your brain, remember. Okay, so where are we at here? Print working directory. Okay, so we said folder 4. So did you just change directories into all the different folders? Okay, ls, so we can see this one has note.txt. So which directory contains a file? We'll say folder 4. Okay. Okay, so real quick, I want to point out, let's jump back out of folder 4. You could tell a lot more what the difference between these two commands. ls is the top one, where I just listed out these folders. And then I did ls-lah, and you'll notice all these other ones show up. Anytime there's a period before it, that means it's a hidden file. Okay, so that's why those ones didn't show up to the naked eye, but they are all in there. Okay, so folder 1, 2, 3, 4, those are the ones we're looking for, and folder 4 had a file inside. Let's hit submit on that. Okay, so now we want to go to folder 4, and then we want to, what command are we going to type in to see the contents of a file? Cat, yep, cat note.txt. Now, did you notice how that's just showing up on screen there? Note dot, and then when I hit tab, it'll autocomplete. Okay, so note.txt, we could see, what's it say inside there? It says hello world with an exclamation point. So hello world, exclamation point, and submit. Woohoo! We got it. Use the cd command to navigate to this file and find out the new current working directory. So print working directory. It is home dash TryHackMe dash blah 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 blah. Okay, so let's say I did not want to, oops. This is hard to do sideways. pwd. Where is my little, yeah, but I don't see my little. Oh. Does this one not have where you can copy the to the home clipboard? It does.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm used to the attack box.
Yeah.
So we'll do Control Shift and C. And then, okay, so now we copied it over there. So let's write that down in our notes. Control-Shift-C. That will allow you to use the clipboard from your, in this case, your Ubuntu machine for TryHackMe. So Control plus Shift plus C. Okay, and that's to share clipboard contents. With the tack box, it has like a little icon on the left about halfway down, and that will allow you to share both ways. Yep. All right. Okay, so we got that far. Now, let's go to searching for files. Use grep on access.log to find the flag that has the prefix of THM. What's the flag? Okay, so there's a couple different ways to search for files, okay? So the first one is, the easy ones, which is just like ls, because that lists it out, so it's kind of like finding stuff. But if we really want to drill down, we would actually type in the find command. So F-I-N-D. That's going to help us find whatever we're looking for. So in this case, if we want to, find a, we're going to find dash name in passwords.txt. So let's go ahead and see find dash name passwords.txt. I don't know if it'll actually show up on this machine or not. So that does not have a that file there, but let's try in, are we in folder 4? Oh. Note.txt. Okay, so it found it. Let's see if it'll. Oh. Didn't save it. Okay, so from here we backed all the way up to just our root folder, and then we typed in find, which we had here, and then dash name, so the name of the file, and then passwords.txt. Okay, so then it went through and it searched the entire directory for that actual file, that note.txt, and it told you right here that it's in folder 4/note.txt. Okay. Find name. So there's these things called wildcards, okay? I don't know if we're introducing them here or not, but this little star right here, that is, I want you to find anything that is a text file. So if we get rid of note and you put wildcard in there, it's going to find, it doesn't care what's in front of text, only what's after text, okay? So in this case, if we had like 30 text files in there and we were just looking for llama.txt, we could do star.txt, and then it would just show us just those text files, and then we could narrow it down from there with the name of llama.txt, okay? Or if you want to see, all JPEGs, you would do star.jpg, and it would list out all of your JPEGs that are there, okay? So that's what wildcards are. So let's go ahead and write down in our notes what we'll cover that as well. So the star equals wild card. So think of it like if you've ever played Uno or you've ever played any like poker that has like Joker's wild, that means it can be anything, right? That's the same thing here. A wild card is anything .text or whatever you're looking for. So you'll use wildcards quite a bit. Okay, using grep. So now the next thing that we have is grep, and that is our tool that we use to look for certain things within a file. So for example here, we have this access log, so it's like a firewall log of all the machines that are accessing, okay? So we're going to type in grep, the IP address that we're looking for, and then the file that we're looking for it in, okay? So if we were in our hello world text, or our note.txt here, we would type in grep, whatever we're looking for, so the word hello, and then the file, so note.txt, and it would spit it out, and it would say, this is where you can find those things, okay? So grep is what we use to kind of go through and try to find things within the file, okay? So definitely a lot with logs, or if you're looking for like usernames and stuff, you'll be able to go through and see like the sudoers file and PASys, the password file, shadow file. You'll be able to go through all those and see who's in there. So in this case, we need to use grep on access.log. Okay, so let's print our working directory. Where are we at? Okay, we're in TryHackMe. We'll see if that access.log file should be there. I can't see it from here. Is it there? Okay, so now we are going to use, what are we going to do? Help me with the command here. What are you type in first? What's the first thing we type in for this command? Okay, we'll type in grep, and then what? Not an IP address. Okay, so what we want to type in here is what the piece that we're looking for. So in this case, we're grepping access.log, and we're finding a flag that has a prefix of THM. So it's telling us that we need to use grep on this file and look for this, okay? So grep THM, and then we're looking in access.log, okay? So then it went through and it found, and it looks like get THM and then access is in the curly braces. Okay, so let's see if that works. So we'll type in THM, is it caps? Yep. And then curly braces, access, and curly braces, submit. Haha, good. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Don't know what that means, but okay. No answer needed. All right. An introduction to shell operators. Okay. Oh, these are fun ones. Okay, so do we need to update our notes on anything, or were we... Oh yeah, we should probably put grep on there, huh? And grep is going to do what? If you were to use, in your own words, what does grep do? You guys tired or what? It's going to find things in a file. Okay, good. Oops. Okay. So the next things are, these are operators. So it allows you to run, like let's say you have multiple things that you want to do. You're able to use the and sign. So let's say I wanted to do updates and then install updates. That's where these operators will come in. Okay, so it allows you to run commands in the background, or it'll allow you to put multiple commands together. So sudo apt-get update and install. So it's going to allow me to go get those updates, pull them down, and then install those updates. Okay, you won't use that one as much, but the ones that you'll use quite a bit is this redirector here. Okay, so that is this little greater than sign, or yeah, greater than, less than, yes, this greater than sign. Because what it does is it'll take the contents of your command and then it forwards it to something else. So let's say we wanted to take this data that we just found here, this thing that we grepped where we looked for THM. What we could do is we can add that symbol and then say found.text. So what'll happen is it'll take the output here, and I always think this of where it's going, you know, almost like this is like an arrow. And then we're going to shove it into this file of found.text. And if that file doesn't exist, it's going to create it for you. Okay? So this is something I use all the time. You'll use it for like updating like logs and things like that for what you're doing. So if you, this is the one that you're going to use quite a bit. Okay? Notice that I said that it'll just shove it in there no matter what. If there's a ton of files in there, it's just going to shove it in there. If I want to add it to the bottom of it, that's where I would use the double greater than sign, okay? So if I kept going and then I found another file, I would want to use this, and then it'll create a new line in that file. It's not just going to totally wipe it out, okay? So let's go back to our notes. Okay, so the big thing is this is outputs or redirects the output, and then double will append or add a new line. So let's scroll here. We learned all that. Okay. If we want to run a command in the background, what operator would we use? We just went over it. What is it? The and sign. Correct. Okay. If I want to replace the contents of a file named passwords with the words passwords123, what would my password, what would it be? There you go. So echo, and it's we replace the contents. So we want to echo passwords, and then redirect that to okay, so that's going to take, we're echoing, remember that's like putting it out on the screen or talking to it, and it's going to take and shove that into the passwords file. Now if I wanted to add TryHackMe to this file named passwords, but also keep passwords123, what's the difference? What do we need to change? What's that? We're going to do a double redirect because that's going to append it, right? So then passwords was the file, right? Cool. Okay, and then no answer needed. Okay, we're almost done. Conclusions and summaries. I'll have a play around. Yes. Linux Fundamentals Part 2. Terminate the machine. And completed. Woo! Congratulations.